Loss of a mind is a terrible thing, but this time, I think I'll make an exception.
My powers, they're draining. Just like Mazora said they would. A small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
I should feel relieved, yet my blood still simmers.
Against all odds, we cured ourselves. Free from the parasite, free from the prospect of ceramorphosis. I can hardly believe it. I will not become an accursed illithid. Not to cast any slight on you, of course. Your present form is but a sign of your gallantry.
I will ensure that all Githyanki know your name and your sacrifice. What you have done today will start a fire that rages across the astral plane. With their lost prince returned, my people will burn away Vlaakith's corruption. And it is all thanks to you, the illithid who defied a netherbrain. As you wish, my savior. My people are leaving, and I must leave with them. Come, Lae'zel. We will free the Githyanki and dismantle the Empire. Let them be imprisoned no longer.
We've shared so much together. I wish that you are gay. As noble as you are, this is a threshold I cannot cross. This is where our fates diverge. I have already chosen a way. The way of Orpheus. Vlaakith will fall, and we will plant a seed. From that seed, Githyanki freedom will blossom. Your will is strong, Restil. Your name will be etched in our slates. You will be called Mlagir, Liberator. Orpheus, I am ready.
Kulos! Kuthos! Farewell, Gestil, my liberator.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city, smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt. You are a mind flayer, the very thing you sought to eradicate. Whatever self you possess is quickly ebbing away. Your friends and enemies alike are ripe for manipulation. And if not manipulation, then consumption. Soon you will not be able to trust yourself at all. You will be a monstrosity beyond redemption. Or not. Perhaps you are unique among illithid kind. Perhaps you will retain enough of who you are to resist your nature. A rogue mind flayer. Like the Emperor, the risk is certainly yours to take. Will you? You have thwarted the Illithid Grand Design. You have defeated 3 Chosen and a Nether Brain. You are miraculous. And you have earned the right to live. Your fate will be what you make of it. Now you are your own master. But it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Gionthar. If I salvage the stones, I can reforge it. With the crown in my hands, I would be unstoppable. The casts I weave would be mine to command. I would be more than the greatest wizard who ever lived. I would be a god. Want, need, deserve. Choose whatever word you prefer. But it is what I'm going to do. Mystra has dictated the terms of my potential for long enough. The crown would grant me control of my own destiny at last. Think of all I could achieve. All that I could grant to those whose ambitions are restrained by Mystra's yoke. I could raise a new Netherrealm, right here in Faerun. It seems that we've come to an impasse. I stand on the threshold of divine ascension, and you would try to keep me grounded. It's not your fault. I can hardly expect you to understand. But nor will I relinquish this chance because you're unwilling to imagine a world where I succeed. I will never forget you. That much I promise. And if one day you feel differently, I will be honored to have you as my chosen.
And all to impress a former lover. Gale should do as Minsk did and stop at the face tattoo. Mystra no longer wishes to share his bed. Who doubts she will wish to share the mastery of all magic with him instead? But let the wizard wet his robes in the river, if that is his wish.
So, what now? I don't know about you, but I could use a flagon, or 3 of ale. Answer it then, but you'll be going without me. I'm sorry.
There was always going to be a moment when your sacrifice caught up with you. A threshold beyond which you would have to venture alone. This is that moment. You are a mind flayer after all. You will have the rest of your long years ahead to understand what that means. Meanwhile, your allies have rather inferior plans of their own.
I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh no. Oh God. Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
Astarion will keep to the dark now, I wager. At least, he'll find plenty to feast on.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid empire, no Death God's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate. You slept like a babe straight through the night, dreamless, thoughtless, and almost entirely free. For the first time, you feel alone, calm. You breathe. Baal may have been your beginning, but he will not be your end. Of all those you killed in your father's name, one lingers in your mind even now. Alfira, the bard of the Emerald Grove. Her death weighs upon you still. A burden you will carry for the rest of your days. But fortunately, you will not have to carry it alone. "6 months since you faced your father and refused your birthright. 6 months since you cured yourself of the urge. Your life is your own now, and you are already becoming someone new. But the memories of the past will not leave you alone. You receive an invitation one day, in a hand you recognize immediately. Challenger of gods, it reads. Surely thou wishest to see thine true family once more. Withers, who raised you when your father struck you down. He bids you join him as a gathering of your allies and friends. So, once again, you return to the place where you formed your first memories. You are calm. You are you. You can do this.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
Always at your side.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up. You can say that with a straight face after all the times I had to come to your aid. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever. You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it. Fair point. I'm not quite sure this evening's refreshments will be to your tastes, but hopefully the company will make up for it. I'm glad you seem well. Trudy. Wandering, mostly. The adventuring life is almost a tonic when you're not constantly threatened by brain monsters and cultists. I can finally see the world beyond the cloister. One of my first stops was the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. It's the largest temple of Selûne in existence. It seemed like the perfect spot to reflect on my parents, on where they came from. And where I came from too, I suppose. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Me, of all people, in the lair of the Moon Witch herself. God, your truest act of heroism was putting up with all that char and drivel I was spouting for so long. Oh, I know they are. I can still sense them, I think. And one day we'll be reunited. I don't know. Which is just the way I like it just now. Perhaps I'll just stick a pin in a map and see what I find, or head to the docks in the morning and scrounge a berth to find somewhere new. I'd like to see the islands, maybe, or head south to Arm. I heard there's an enclave of werecats that hunt the followers of dark gods by moonlight. I'd love to see if there's any truth to that. But enough about me. What have you been up to? Well, you needn't count me amongst the panicky. I know what you did for all of us. They'll never forget it. Coming from me, that's saying something. Hopefully, these meetups will become a regular occurrence. It's not that I miss the tadpoles, but at least it brought us together. Now we've got to make the extra effort ourselves. I'm sure we will, but let's be proactive about it all the same. We're more than capable. After all, we've faced down bigger threats than wrangling together a few social calendars. Don't be a stranger.
Friend! You came! Big Brother Scratch, too! Happy. Lots? Make friends with a turtle, a cat, a kraken. Kraken eats my cat friend, so I run away. Sad, tired now. Want sleep. Want cave. Bear man? He is big, but not bigger than me. I like him. I go to him.
A familiar sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in his mouth.
I found this. It smelled like you, so I kept it. Seemed like something you might like to throw. Oh, I've been so good. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you and Albert. I've got so many best friends, I hardly know who to play with. I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you. You know best, but a little fetch never hurt anyone, as far as I know.
Now, there's a face I know well indeed. Ah, it's the star of the show, our humble protagonist who forsook Baal to save the city. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post. Busy as ever. Better that than the reverse, wouldn't you say? Every major publishing house on the Sword Coast has been vying for my upcoming book on the subject of our adventures together. I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think? Oh, terribly sorry, but you mistake me, my friend. I'm only accepting complimentary feedback at this time. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Hmm? Ah, your success really has been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
Why were we scrounging in barrels?
You made it! You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more. We have all pined for each other's company, I sense. I cannot imagine otherwise after what we shared. That bond was forged in a crucible that can never be stoked again, Oak Father willing. It is a bond that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day. You are right, of course. I am accustomed to dwelling on the past, even when it brought me nothing but unhappiness. You changed that, and gave me the most precious of memories. Now the task is to make yet more of them, so that each reunion shall be all the sweeter. And who's to say we need to make such gatherings a rare occasion? My hearth is yours to warm yourself beside always. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing. In that case, very well. Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony, stronger together. In a manner of speaking, yes. Though it is a more complex, evolving beast than I could ever have anticipated. True balance is no simple, fixed thing. I see that now. We welcome folk from all walks of life. Anyone who wishes for a new start. Naturally, it can be chaotic at times, but it is a thrilling sort of chaos. It thrives in ways I could never have dreamed of. Please, spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see. My charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake. I am all ears, though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image. Yet not by me. I shall tell the children of your heroism and sacrifice. They shall know what they owe to you. Trust me. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else. Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me. But more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned. On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence. Do you truly even need to ask? Of course! Who could not open their home to a befeathered hero of Baldur's Gate? And I did promise the children I would bring them back a surprise. Oh, imagine their faces. I spend half my days in Ursine form. The children demand it. I had a score of them taking turns riding upon my back just days ago. I'm glad they are so comfortable with the Oakfather's creations. But they must learn that not all are as amiable as I am. A lesson for another time, though. They deserve some joy. As for roaming, that impulse has dwindled, I must admit. Perhaps because I have found where I am meant to be. As did I, but somehow I feel like I no longer need to roam. That I have found something worthy laying roots for. Amazing what can be discovered about oneself, even at a ripe old age. I was just thinking the very same. If only we could stay like that forever. Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this. Ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company. Just a token to remember me by. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on. Enjoy the festivities. We can speak again later.
You made it! Now it really is a party. Well, look who decided to turn up. I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to his promise. But here we are. At least I assume it's you in there. It's a little hard to tell. How have you been since, everything? No, I imagine not. I am sorry. I wish things had worked out differently for you, but... well, no use dwelling on it, is there? Oh, you know, ups and downs. I haven't seen the sun since the brain fell. I'm reduced to eating vermin once more, and I can't walk the streets lest Cazador finds me. You know, when I say it out loud, there have been decidedly more downs than ups. Almost exclusively downs, actually. You could at least offer to help. You're more than capable of facing him. Now, more than ever. Killing him would be easy. Thank you. I can't tell you how much this means. But killing vampires is a decidedly daytime activity. For now, we can simply enjoy the night. We've had quite the journey, you and I. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. Someone to take on the world with. I will miss our time together. But then again, maybe this isn't goodbye. So much as it's, see you later, darling.
All this stimulating conversation leaves you hungry. To speak is not enough. You wish to explore the brain of your friend with your beak. Astarion's sweet brain may be a bit less wrinkled than the rest, but you hunger for its teasing cells. His parietal lobe, which controls his sense of touch, will be an aphrodisiac in your maw. This is highly illogical. There are plenty of other craniums awaiting your suction, and this is a prize ally. And besides, this brain before you, its endorphins are in a joyous flow. It is a wonderful scent, the odor of friendship.
Well, now. You can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to. Your higher form has brought with it some higher manners, then. Ah, how nice to be understood again. I have spent the past months bickering with builders and bankers, all to restore the city exactly as it was. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers, same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon, same cisterns overflowing, huh? Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three, but nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two, if they don't expel her. Again. There is still much to do. People to house. A Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. The songs of my suffering will break hearts from here to the Hordlands, I am sure. Now, before this night grows any deeper, I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
Breathe deep, Boo! The smell of heroes sings from every stone in this place. To meet again where your journey began, my friend. An honor. For Minsk and his hamster both. Oh, and for Happy also.
Yes. Honored, of course.
See how your very presence snatches the breath from his chest? And it is no wonder. It is just this day that Happy learned of your legend, while we gazed down upon the very city you saved.
He dangled me from the high hall, upside down, for 2 hours.
The guild should not go creeping in high places if they do not have the stomach for them, hmm? It is well for Happy the strange portal appeared when it did. Minsk's arm was growing achesome. So I have. Though it is a peace made more from blade and boot than it is any sense of brotherhood. 9 fingers forbade any looting of the Illithid's fleshy vessels. And so Minsk guards what remains of the battle site. Even from her. But where Minsk might once have thrown any sneaking scoundrels from the tower top, now I tell them of you. How you ruled the wickedness within. How they might do the same.
Yes, I'll rule it. I'll be better.
Oh, of course. It is still for Boo to decide if they live or die.
Oh, gods.
But enough, my friend! I cannot tell your tale if I do not know the whole of it. Minsk and Boo would know where you have been, what you have done. No, no, my friend, do not begin this. It is too early in the evening for tears and passing Boo around for the blowing of noses. First, I must educate this sneak thief on the company he keeps. Lae'zel of Greskiller, true child of Gith and true friend to Boo, though she will and say it is not so. Astarion, who is banished by the sun itself for fear his Spanish soul might outshine it. We visit him much down in the dark places, though he often moves his lair without remembering to tell Minsk where. Gale, who now names himself a god, though in truth, Minsk has known few wizards who did not think of themselves so. Shadowheart, two gods tugged at her soul, but she managed to keep it all for herself in the end. Wait, Boo, did she do something with her hair? Halsin, archdruid of Arch... somewhere. He is a much better man than he smells. And finally, Jahira. If this is a name you do not already know, then not even Boo can save you. Study them well, sneak thief, for the best among them will be a guide for your guild. Heroes who put the city before themselves, who never falter in their duty. And more than this, who never arrive to a party without even a gift for the host.
But wait!
Go, my friend. Be among our friends. There is much work yet to be done before this one is fit to join them.
New days, old friends. There's no greater joy.
God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a...
Gods, I must look a mess. I just rolled out from under a pesky ogre when Withers yanked me in. Oh, I didn't mean... Well, I didn't mean that. I just gutted the ogre, not... How about I change the subject before I dig this hole any deeper? You look positively perfect. Not a tentacle out of place. But damn it all, you were too bold a soul to be slinking in shadows, tentacles or not. Your sacrifice hasn't gone forgotten. It's afforded me a life of my own making, slaying the beasts of the coast. The hunt is both duty and thrill. The trolls I've torn open, the ghouls I've cleaved, the stories I've been itching to tell. I don't suppose you'd indulge me. You'll have to choose one tale and one tale only, I'm afraid, or I'll be yammering all night. You want to hear about the Stegosaurus that bullied Candlekeep, the impossible lich, or the young dragon who crawled out of Deeping Cave? There are tales galore of a great green dragon called Clogiliometer. Try saying that 5 times in a row. Clogiliometer, Clogilimuffer, Clogamother, whatever. Let's call it Old Gnawbone. Turns out, Old Gnawbone had kids. And one of them flew the roost and took to stalking a small elven enclave outside Crypt Garden Forest. The damned dragon had turned the place into a slave camp before I arrived. Sordid beyond words. He was a big boy, but still a young'un. A wonder of the skies, but a lumbering oaf on the ground. I tried a sly approach, but the whelp saw me coming and up it flew. Poison poured from its mouth as it descended. I tumbled away, shot it with arrows, and it crashed to the ground. I could have ended the battle there and then, but this was prey that deserved to be played with. The beast was a smoking heap of black-green scales once the battle was over. The elves and I sang songs and drank mead in celebration until their barrels went dry. I've seen him more than a few times, and he's as proud of me as I am of him. He's leading the city's renewal, opened the gates to all newcomers, rebuilt the council from scratch. And he's back in his element, commanding the Flaming Fist with brave heart and no shortage of empathy. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's Chosen primed the Fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, fathers pardoned every last fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but with Floric's help, he's teaching the Fist a new lesson. Valor is found not in the wounds you inflict, but in the lives that you have bettered. May they all take it to heart. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Oh, at what cost?
Prayer or two would suffice. Not so bad. Aha! Goodness. Was Faerun always so dull? Still, at least the company was worth the trip, if not the view. I told you I would, didn't I? I imagine you're wondering how all this came to be. The finer points of divine ascension are beyond mortal comprehension, I'm afraid, but I can provide a rudimentary sequence of events. First, I retrieved the crown of Karsus and reforged it using a series of precise and highly complex Netherese incantations. Then, I used it. As you know, the orb within me was the half-formed Karsite Weaver. Magic left incomplete by Karsus' self-destruction. I finished it. Using the crown of Karsus, I turned it into a new form of magic, fused with my being, driven by my purpose. And then I put it to work. As expected, Mystra was unwilling to hand over the reins of the weave, so I've claimed dominion over another area which I've passing familiarity. Ambition. I offer them nothing. I inspire them to seize their destinies for themselves. Great as the heights I've reached thus far may be, I've not forgotten my humble origins. In fact, they're central to my doctrine. Those drawn to the Galarian Creed don't merely seek my guidance as the impressive, all-powerful being I've become. Ambition is about beginnings. It's not just about the heights, but the lows that preceded them. I was nothing. A drifting dust mote of a wizard, abandoned by my goddess, my powers lost, my reputation destroyed. And look at me now. I'm their proof. Proof their hopes are not barren wastes, but the loamy soil in which their future achievements will flourish. Proof that with ambition, anything is possible. Theo would prefer to let the cosmic dust settle from my unexpected ascension before considering my right to grant my followers such power. I'm sure it'll come around in a millennium or so, and by then my creed will be something to reckon with. There are already several shrines in my honor scattered across the outer reaches of Thay, and rumors of a very prominent temple under construction in Arm. This is only the beginning. I thought you would be. Now, divine as my company undoubtedly is, I have an eternity to catch up with you. A luxury few others at this party possess. Don't let me deprive them of your company, or mine, for that matter. It's not every day a newborn god shows up to the reunion.
The day I pray to you, Gale, is the day up is down, left is right, and Tressim's a cat's. Well, there he is, Gale in all his glory. I hope you're happy, the god of ambition. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous? Ambition, aspiration, greed and hubris is all I hear. The Gale I knew wasn't like this. He recognized his mistakes. He was contrite. All he wanted to do was live. Unfortunately, he fell into company that turned his gaze toward foolishness. Yes, I mean you. False. He was mine. Though now he belongs only to his own pride. I know there's nothing you could have done to stop him. Not really. Once he'd decided to learn nothing from his mistakes, what use were either of our protests? Perhaps you'd be willing to come meet Gale's mother sometime? She misses him so. And I know it would do her heart a world of good to discuss her son with someone who knew him as he was. See that you do. We'd love to have you. Things have been rather quiet without himself cluttering up the place. Enjoy your party, dear. I've heard you quite deserve a celebration.
Jack Van Findu. For 2 months, Orpheus trained me in the ways of the comet. For 2 more, I skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet, I traveled through Limbo. But nothing has made me quiver more than seeing your face here today. Tentacles and all. We've spilled blood, gained a foothold in the astral, but still we need allies. And one beyond reckoning has made itself known. Zerith Minyaragith. Not a what, but a who. The immortal god king of the Githzerai. An exiled people. Once kin with mine, until the madness of civil war ripped our one sky into two. Our Gish sent word of the rebellion to Minyaragith through the cosmos. He's agreed to parley. It's fallen to me to secure an alliance. Sometimes. But I don't need the Githzerai to fight for us. Just with us. Love.
Love. The word hangs in the air for a moment, before Lae'zel continues, unfazed.
Minyaragith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that I must meet him. He is also a near deity. Should the Githzerai join us, we could topple the City of Death in a red dragon's blink. Should they refuse, I carry on. Gravity pulls me in but one direction. I am a warrior of the comet. I will not rest until I burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. My people will be free. But you've heard that refrain before. Zealous, bossy, insistent. All part and parcel of my undeniable charm. I know the feeling all too well. But that I can be in your presence at all is a wonder of its own. It has taken all of Orpheus's efforts to conjure my projection, and all of mine to convince him to let me come. Let's make the most of the moment, I say. May I kiss you? I can feel you, even taste you in this form. But it is as if a thin layer of glass separates us. I can't quite have the whole of you. But soon I'll find some way to see you in flesh, to touch you as you are meant to be touched. I need you. And when the comet has risen, we will be forever together, as surely as Kalir will forever circle the sun.
Withers has a keen eye for him.
Thank Mother Gith. The psionic projection is holding.
When he could God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice. You have no idea. You were a bard, were you? Back before you became so tentacular. Withers couldn't even find a bard who knows who I am.
Milil.
Though if the lack of song prayers is anything to go by, that name carries less weight than it used to.
You feel a pang of divine guilt. Musical prayers went out of fashion among bards when Milil, Lord of Song, offended the god Cyric and was ejected from the pantheon.
I'm washed up, I'm afraid.
You know. You're bloody right. It is an honor. Deep down, I knew you'd recognize me. You're a fellow bard, after all. What can I do you for? Fantastical news. Carry on I shall.
This one night is like any other, and yet different. Thou art the savior of Baldur's Gate, until such time it requires saving again. How dost thou feel? What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready. For thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.